So this is my 40-ish gallon Eheim tank. I've got it set up as a well, I've got it set up where you can see from the front and the back. But it's really aquascape to be seen from this view because it's in front of my sofa. I did a little bit of a rescape. Yes, I did add my TARDIS to it. You can see my little red-tailed eels I got from Dan's Fish. I got 5 of them. I've found 2. I saw 3 earlier when I put in some worms. So I know there's 3 of them. Don't know about the others, but I'm happy to see these. They're really cute. I've also got some Gadaeids in here. Oops, let's go back so we can see better. And I will tell you right now, don't remember what kind they are. Yellow-tailed, maybe, something does. I have their name someplace. But you can see they're really pretty. The reflection is really pretty on them. I think it's a yellow-tailed something or other. Anyway, they did finally drop some babies. So there's some fry in here. And of course, I will never find them now to show you. This is my little bent-spined guppy I need to get out of here. But, oh, here they are. Okay, sorry. Try not to make you nauseous. Doo-dah, doo-dah. There, see that little guy? Right there above the little whatever. It's one of the little ones. And there's some white clouds in here and a few other odds and ends. Here's my little white clouds. I'm going to move some more fish in here, but at the moment it's set on, it says 77, but it's set on 74. So it's probably pushing it for the Gadaeids, but they did drop fry, so I'm happy about that. But I did a little bit of a reset. It's got immersed growth, apothos. This one is a bud that started on a sweet potato. Pulled it off the sweet potato because come to find out, if you leave it on the sweet potato turns into disgusting grossness and dissolves in your tank, and then it's a problem. And then I have, of course, my lucky bamboo, and I got nothing, but it grows out of the tank. So it's grown out, down the side, back up, draped over, coming back this way. So I need to get some more Anubias to put in here so it doesn't look quite so stark. But somebody lives in this hole, so I have to make sure that I don't cover it up. And that's pretty much all that's in here. But the reason I was showing this, as I ramble on, I'll try to be a little more succinct. I had to be out of town for, it turns out, almost 4 weeks. I was able to come back in to town once during each week. My mother had a medical emergency and I needed to go home and take care of her, which I did. And she is doing fine, praise God. Or any higher power you believe in, she made it. And I'm finally back home. But what I would like to say is, now these are all really old. Here's another one, the little fry. Sorry, I got sidetracked by the fry. I'm showing off a little. All of my tanks, none of my tanks are new setups. All of them are seasoned tanks, at least a year old. Some of them are running on, well, probably the oldest. A lot of them are still running with the same substrate, but I've reset or added some to the top. But most of them are at least 1 year old. This one's a year. Yeah, this one's a year, maybe 2. I can't remember. But most of them are like 5, 6 years old, 4. So they're seasoned tanks. But fish are tough. Nobody fed them, because I made that mistake before. We won't do that again. But I only lost 1 tank, and I think that the reason I lost that 1 tank, and believe me, that was a disheartening loss, because whoo, howdy, they were expensive fish. They really were expensive fish. some rainbows. Whew. Sorry, makes me a little not. Well, first off, I feel horrible. But I think what happened is when I came home, because they were only getting fed once a week, I tried to give them a little extra food, you know, not too much extra. And that particular tank had 2 plecos. So I think what I did is overfeed the tank, trying to make sure the plecos had enough to graze on. And either that or one fish died and it fouled the tank and I lost the whole tank. Oh, they were beautiful too. Had these, oh, it doesn't matter. But anyway, of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Of the 20 tanks I have, 19 of them are fine. If I had a loss, the tank was able to eat it and absorb it. But for whatever reason, this particular tank didn't. So I wanted to tell you, for one, fish are tougher than they are. 2, I would never try it on a tank that was just set up and ready to go. Mine all have live plants in them. They have some mulm at the bottom because fry, probably the only reason these fry live, they're born bigger, but they could pick around in the mulm, and sometimes you can get like, because you get little microorganisms, things that I can't see are growing in there. And there's probably a house fly or 2 that dropped in every so often too, or a little fruit fly or something. But they all made it. If one of the weakest links dropped, it was the tank was able to absorb it. Somebody probably ate it. But yeah, I just wanted to show that the fish are tough. I used to have people come in and feed my fish, but I made that mistake once and lost about 4 tanks worth of fish because they were massively overfed. That was awful. So I've never had anybody come in and feed my fish since then. I started to leave those little, you know, green vacation looking things in there, but I didn't. I ended up just going with my gut and believing that my tanks had enough life in them that they could sustain them. And they did. So I am particularly happy about that. The other tank that I was worried about is right next to it. This is my Neolamprologus multifasciatus, or my Shellie tank. And right now there's not a lot of them. You're not seeing a lot of them out, but I've seen the colony out, and they've done a massive rescape of this tank. Oh, I'm in the reflection. That's a nasty reflection. Let's just try to get me out of that reflection. There we go. Be on the side. But yeah, they've done a really good rescape, and they have fry in here. They're not really out of the shells now, but you can see how they've. I moved them to a 40 breeder from a 33 long because the colony had gotten too big, and they have rescaped a flat surface, impressively so, all along the side. They buried my little tiny TARDIS. It was a salt and pepper shaker, so it's not well, no, a bit bigger than that. Anyway, they buried my TARDIS. They've excavated all along the rock wall. Let's see. Oops. See right in that shell, there is a little fry. Yeah. So again, this one didn't get fed either, but they all survived. And this is the most recent reset, but the rocks were old. The substrate was theirs. I used, actually the substrate on the bottom was from Tater, my humpback dragon puffer, Thaddeus Tater. It was a substrate from his tank, and I just put some fresh sand on top. So they had some old substrate. They had cycled sponges. They had rocks that had been in other tanks, and their shells are all cycled. So, and they also have plants growing out of the top. But pothos, I have no idea. I don't remember. And some, I don't actually remember what this one is either. And this, of course, is a lucky bamboo. And this is some Anubias. Trying the Anubias immersed. I'm just worried that it'll get too dried out. So we'll see how it goes. But that helps as well. Oops, that is not focusing. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I just thought I would show off a little bit and say fish are a little bit tougher than we think, but just be aware they will, if you have to do what I did, a cycle tank, a seasoned tank will help you along and help your fish to make it through. Anyway, I hadn't posted in a while and I was just happy about these tanks. Turn this one back off. I was happy to find fry today when I was doing the water change. Come on, focus. There we go. I was happy to see that they had had some fry and that they were doing well. Yep, picking at the rocks. Now these are from outside. I added them in from outside. Today, they've been in the sun baking for quite some time, so I'll be honest, I didn't even rinse them off. I just threw them in there. But I know people will say also, you're not supposed to put other fish with gadads. Yeah, well, I do a lot of things you're not supposed to do. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I also like these striped limias. He's like, give me some. Come on, honey, give me some. Well, I think that was one of the gadads trying to give me some of the white limia, and there's the limias, and they're like, nope, I don't think so. Anyway, that's this tank. I'm going to move some of the inhabitants of another tank in here and take it down. I've been slowly reducing the amount of tanks I have because boy howdy, 20 is too many. All right, well that's my long ramble and me kind of not really showing off, but just showing you my TARDIS tank. And the light is a Fluval planted 3.0, I think. But the goal next is to get some jungle valve to run along the back and go up to the top. See if I can get a little bit more in there. All right, y'all take care.